Hello, amazing people. Let's solve this GCSE question together. It's very simple, okay? Now, when you look at this, this is a combination of two important aspects of mathematics. You see, this part is exponential, okay, because of this power here, okay? And this one is radical because of this root. So let's see how to solve such equation. Now, let's do it together. So what we'll do is we'll begin it with our solution, okay? So in that case, we are going to have, let's bring this down. But remember that when you have 1 over a is the same as a to the power of -1, according to your indices, okay? So in that case, this can be written as 3 to the power of -1. Then we now have the whole of x squared minus 2x all over 16 minus 2x cubed. That's amazing. Now, what do you do again? Now, when you look at this one, what do? When you have, remember, when you have square root of, or let's say when you have roots a, and there's an index here, okay? What this means is that it's going to be the same as a raised to power of 1 over n. If you want to express your radical to be in exponent, this is what you have, okay? This index here, we call it the index, is the denominator of the power. So what do you do now? We are going to have, for this is going to give us 9, and we are going to raise it to the power of 1 over 4x, because this is the same as our n. I hope this is cleared. So what do you think you should do again? Now, when you look at this, the bases are not the same. So what do? We're going to make this 9 to be in base 3. Since we know it that 9 is the same as 3 multiplied by 3, which is 3 squared. Amazing. So what do? We are going to now have 3, for 9 is 3 squared, then we raise it to the power of 1 over 4x. Did you see that? So you close the brackets and you bring down 3 raised to power of -1 into x squared minus 2x all over 16 minus 2x cubed. Now what do? Remember another rule of exponents, which says that if I have a raised to power m, then raise it to the power of n. What does it mean? This is the same as a raised to power m in this form, okay? These two, this and this are the same, and it means you are going to have a raised to power m multiply n. So m will multiply n for you to remove the bracket, okay? So let's apply it here. This is going to give us 3 raised to power. Remember, this is 2 over 1. So it's going to multiply this. And 2 will multiply 1 to give us 2. And 1 will multiply 4x to give us 4x. Did you see that? We can also simply cancel out 2 here, 1. 2 cancels 4 will give us 2. So we can just reduce it from here to have 1 times 1 is 1. And 1 multiply 2x will give us 2x. Did you see that? So you bring down this. This is 3 raised to power negative. So we can also apply this here, because we are seeing that this negative is multiplying this. And this -1 is the same as -1 over 1. Okay, so you are using it to multiply. So what do? The -1 will multiply the numerator, and the 1 will multiply the denominator. So let's do it together. -1 multiplies x squared is -x squared. Okay, -1, you know, you're going to use it to multiply the 2 terms in the bracket. Okay, so -1 multiplies -2x will give us +2x all over 1. Still do the same thing, and when you multiply by 1, it gives you back the same value. Did you see that? So what do again? At this point, you have to notice that the bases are now the same. So if the bases are the same, as you can see, what it means is that the powers will also be the same. So in that case, we simply say equate powers. So we're going to equate our powers, and if you do that, it means you're going to have -x squared plus 2x all over 16 minus 2x cubed is equal to 1 over 2x. You see, it has led us to rational equation. So what do you do now? We are going to just cross multiply this, okay? The whole of this, we multiply 2x, and 1, we multiply this. So let's do it together. Multiply this with this, we are going to have negative, so this is going to give us negative x squared multiply 2x is going to give us negative 2x cubed, okay? Then use 2x to multiply 2x, it gives you 4x squared. Now we come to this. 1 we multiply 16, and it's 16. 1 multiplies this is negative 2x cubed. So what do? We are going to collect, bring them together. So we have negative 2x cubed. Remember, this is negative, okay? And because it's negative, you are going to add to both sides. So if you add, here is going to be 2x cubed. I hope that is cleared. Okay. So we have plus 4x squared. Did you see that? Then this is positive also. So we want to remove it, you use negative. So it becomes negative 16. And you know, when you have removed this to become negative and you remove this to become positive, nothing is left. So everything becomes 0. I hope that is cleared. So what do you do again? You will now see that negative 2x cubed plus 2x cubed simply becomes 0. So we are left with 4x squared minus 16 is equal to 0. Now, this is just your simple difference of 2 squared. How do you do it? This is the same as 4 is the same as 2 squared. Okay, let's make a difference of 2 squares. Notwithstanding, we can also just solve it as a simple equation to have it as 4x squared, add 16 to both sides, is going to give us 16 plus 0. Did you see that? So we're going to have 4x squared is equal to 16, okay? Please remember, if you know how to use your difference of 2 squared, you can also use it at this point. So we're going to now have, divide both sides by the 4, divide this by 4. So we're having it as x squared is equal to, divide this, you have 4. So what does it mean? It means that to get our x is going to be plus or minus because of this square, because this is simple quadratic, okay? So it's going to be plus or minus square root of 4, because to remove square, you take the square root. So this means that our x is equal to square root of 4 is 2. So we're going to have positive 2 or negative 2 as the two values of x. Now we are going to really check to know which of these two values is really the answer to this particular question. Now, to check, we are going to have, let's check for when x is 2, okay? Let's check for when x is 2, because we have seen we have this expression, because when you have an expression in a rational form, you have to be careful, because you must make sure that the denominator is not 0. Because if it becomes 0, it is undefined. So that is the reason you need to check to be sure, okay? So let's do it together. So let's test for when x is positive 2. What do? Let's put it here. Let's use the denominator to check, or we can just quickly check everything. So we're going to have 1 over 3, then raised to power of, our x is 2, so we have 2 squared minus 2 into 2 all over 16 minus 2 brackets, our x is 2 cubed. Did you see that? So this is going to give us 1 over 3 raised to power 2 squared is 4, and minus 2 times 2 is 4, okay? Then we have 16 minus 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times, which is 8 times 2, will give us 16. Did you see what we're getting? So we're having 1 over 3 raised to power 4 minus 4 is 0, and 16 minus 16 is 0. And when we have something like this, we say it is indeterminate, because the denominator has become 0 as well as the numerator. So what does it mean? It means we are going to go back to this to conclude that our x cannot be 2. But don't be too fast. Let's check for when x is negative 2 so that we can make our conclusion. So let's do it for when x is -2. So what do? We're going to now have, remember what we are doing is check, okay? So we check for when x is -2. So we're going to now have 1/3 raised to power x is -2 squared minus 2 into -2, okay? All over 16 minus 2 into -2 cube. Okay, let's check the left side and see if it's a solution. So in that case, we are going to now have this giving us 1/3 raised to power -2 squared is -2 times -2, which is 4. Then multiply this, it gives you +4. Then we have 16, -2 cube is 8, -8. And when you multiply by this, it gives you +16. Did you see that? So you see we're having a solution which is 1/3. If you add this, it gives you what? 8. All over, add this, it gives you 32. Did you see that? So what do you do now? At this point, you have this can now reduce it. Here is 1 and here is we are going to have 4 here. So it means we have 1/3 raised to power 1/4. We have gotten a solution, but let's be sure that this left side is equal to the right side. So let's check for the right side. For the right side, what we have there is square root of 9. We have this power, this root, and remember x is -2. So when you have 4x, it means 4 multiply -2, and that will give us -8. So what we have here is -8. Did you see that? So what do you do now? We're going to now have, this will give us 9 raised to power 1/8. Okay, and what does it mean? It means we can also express this 9 as we've said to be 3 raised to power 2. Did you see that? Then we multiply it by 1/8. So what does it mean? We are going to have 3 raised to power. This is 2 multiplies 1 is 1 and multiplies. So we can cancel out 2 here 1 and 2 here 4. So we have -1/4. But what did you observe? You observe that from what we have here, you notice that what we have here is 1/3 raised to power 1/4. Now the question is it the same with 3 raised to power -1/4? Are they the same? Now this is going to be the same if we apply a little mathematics on it. So what do? What you're going to do is you're going to remember one of the rules of exponent, which says that when you have this, remember when you have 3 is the same as 3/1. Do you agree with that? 3 is the same as 3/1. Let's write this very well. So we have -1/4. Okay, 3 is the same as this. So one of the rules of exponent says if you have a/b raised to power of -1/n, what does it mean? It means you are going to still have to remove the negative sign, you reverse. Okay, this goes up and this comes down. So to give you b/a, then raised to power 1/n. That means to remove the negative sign, you reverse the number. Did you see that? So you are going to apply this here. So if you do that, you are going to now have it that from here, we have it that 1/3 raised to power of 1/4 is equal to, let's reverse this. This goes up and this comes down. So we have 1/3 raised to power of, removing the negative sign because we have reversed. So we have 1/4. And you've seen that our answers are now the same. So in our conclusion, we say that the true value of x is -2. And that is our answer. And I hope you learned a lot. Let's know how much in the comment. It helps us to do more. Remember, you can subscribe for the more you get. Share this tutorial with your friends. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up. See you in our next class and bye-bye.